Alright, so let's talk about today's lessons about heat energy. Now, heat energy is the transfer of thermal energy. Heat always travels from an object that is warm or hot to an object that is cold. Like in this example right here, the heat goes from the hot plate to the pan that has ice water in it. And for us to measure what heat is, we have to use temperature. And temperature is the measure of how much thermal energy an object has. And we always use a thermometer to measure thermal energy. Now, we have three types of heat energy movement or heat energy travel. Now, the first one is conduction, and that's the transfer of heat/thermal energy between objects that actually touch each other. So let's look at this example. So right now, in this example, we have a candle touching right here the bottom of this pan to heat it up. And so for that heat energy to conduct, the fire needs to touch the bottom of the pan in order to heat it up. And that's an example of conduction. Now, convection is heat/thermal energy that travels through a gas or a liquid. And one example of this is you heating up a pan of water that has a tomato floating in the water. Well, the fire heats up the water. And when the water is getting heated up, it heats up the tomato by convection currents. That means that this tomato is getting warmer or getting hotter by the heat from the water. Not from the heat from the bottom of the pan, but from the heat from the water. Our next thing we're going to talk about is radiation. Now, radiation is heat/thermal energy that travels in electromagnetic rays from the sun. And that is pretty much the only way that you're going to get heat energy by radiation is it coming from the sun. Heating up solar panels and things like that. And now the last thing that we're going to look at is conductors and insulators of heat energy. Now, objects that are metal, they are good heat conductors. Why? Because heat passes through them. Heat passes through real easy. And just like if you grab a metal pan on a hot stove, you're going to feel that heat right away. Now, if we're going to talk about an insulator, so wooden, plastic, or rubber objects, they're bad heat conductors, but they are excellent heat insulators. Why? Because they block the flow of heat energy. And so that is the end of our lesson on heat energy. Stay tuned for the next lesson on light energy.